Want more Marvel? Digging DC? Looking for the latest in nerd news? We got it all and more. This is
Distance Nerding.
We're talking about anything pop culture, movies, music, food, wrestling, whatever you're nerding out on, we want to talk about it. The Distance Nerding podcast celebrates all things you nerd out on. More nerd news, less nerd negativity. Each week, join Young Phil and Jamez 5000 as they discuss what's new in the nerd world and get your voice heard in the Facebook group, The Distance Nerdington Post. Grab some tacos, hold on to your butts, and strap in for the ride. You are now listening to Distance Nerding.
Hey! What's going on, everyone?
This is Ezra.
And this is Phoenix.
Hey, guys.
Unfortunately, Ark is currently not with us. He's currently driving. So, safe and sorry, not going to have him on here.
We are actually getting ready to do a end of May 4th, or we did a full Star Wars week. You guys met, who do we meet? We met Clint, and we met all sorts of, who else did we meet?
Met Dominic Pace.
Dominic Pace, yeah.
And then this week is someone super special.
Yes, and I think there's only one way. There's a large lack of arcade, Philippe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, Philippe, while you're on here, I read on your Facebook that this coming up podcast for Distance Nerding might be the last. Do you want to iterate on that? Or whatever the word is, talk about it real quick.
And also, so Ark is currently not with us this episode. Hopefully, maybe he will jump on a little later in the show. We're getting ready to celebrate in Sacramento tonight. If you check out our I'm wrong.
I'm wrong.
Wrong.
Do you want to tell us what that was? I saw something about last Distance Nerding or something.
I have a feeling I know what he's talking about. There is a different podcast that is the last episode.
Hardly Heroes. Okay.
Hardly Heroes, yeah.
That's what it was.
And Invenera, guys.
Yes, I am wrong, Chris.
There we go. Hardly Heroes is done. We are way too strong to end now. Yeah, and this is nerding forever, guys. In fact, Distance Nerding is going to come with us for Sacramento tonight. So they'll be partying. Come and check out our Ark.
Oh.
He's been summoned. Woo!
Hello.
Okay, now I'm being pushed into. There we go.
You are muted. We cannot hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
No.
You can never end Distance Nerding. Agreed.
Strike them down, they shall become far more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Hello.
There we go.
Hey, what's up? Hey, Chris, can we get this door closed behind me? Thank you kindly. How are you guys? You guys are the best.
You're late, Ark.
I know. 4 minutes late.
Well, that's how you know it's me. If it was me, I wouldn't be on time.
Are you a changeling? Are you a changeling?
I am. Hey, look who's
it's
Soju. Soju, the former producer of the original Saber Rattle. So yes, I know you guys have been holding it down. What have you guys been talking about? What I missed?
Pretty much what we how we are ending a month of Star Wars, which May the 4th be with you guys. I know we kind of had a mess up for our 50th episode, and we didn't go live on the 4th. But yeah, May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you all. And we have a fantastic...
Revenge of the
6th. Yeah, we were playing Revenge of the Sith at the shop yesterday. And yes, if you guys talked about the other big news about Kyber Cave this week, this is tomorrow night is what? Anybody know Bueller? Oh. It's our last battle at the cave.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, the Kyber Cave closes on Sunday. Now, we'll still be open for repairs. You can still message us. Saber Rattle is still going to be hauling through, so you are still going to see all of us and hear all the updates that are happening at Kyber Cave. But we are going to focus on getting our warehouse, getting that all set up, and then hopefully in a couple months we'll have our storefront back open again. But
we're converting, we're changing everything.
Lots of changes. Some of them are secret still, but I'm really excited for some of the stuff that's going on. And watching Kyber Cave and Saber Rattle grow. It's the final countdown.
Do.
Yeah, and speaking of that growth, we're not going to give too much away, but look for this show to grow. We have a expansion show that sounds like it might be coming, a little baby show that's going to come from Saber Rattle. It'll be a little baby Saber Rattle. Actually, it'll be nothing like Saber Rattle. In fact, it'll
be a little
kind of blow your mind. Yeah, it'll definitely not be appropriate for babies.
The plan is that it will be a not safe for work version of this show because we are very family friendly here. Yes. We try not to cuss and we behave ourselves and talk about family friendly things. But on there, no, we are going to talk trash about
after
whatever
midnight.
We feel like. Yeah.
It's called Kyber Cave After Dark, so you might imagine the kind of topics that we might get into. So look for our growth. Exciting things are happening. Hey, did you guys do the flow of the show? I don't even, you know what? I didn't even prepare to see who our flow is this week.
It is Eason.
Alan.
Alan, yes.
Alan Eason. Oh, hey, yeah. Well, I don't even need to know then. I already know we got a dope flow. We got that loaded up?
We are ready to go.
Yeah, let's do the... And for those that have been following Saber Rattle for a while, you may or may not know, and if you don't know, you know now, so you can go check it out. Alan Eason was actually, we had him on a main interview on episode number 5. This little book comes in so handy. It keeps me like so I wouldn't know this thing from memory. Are you crazy? Yeah. But yeah, if you want to find out more about his story, what's amazing about that is all that incredible flow you saw. He did it because he was recovering from an injury where he literally had, like, he said his lungs were collapsed, some kind of a bad car accident or something. He kind of like you were doing, Phoenix. He had to use it as a way of therapy to get his body back to working form. Dan, what is going on? So yeah,
I think that's definitely a really legit way to do it. I'm actually working with my Saber right now. Not quite ready yet. In fact, I'm not even pulling that thing out. It's not here right now with me. But yeah, it's not on hand. I have to go and like summon it from the force. Yeah. But yeah, that is a really legit way. In fact, I've been watching a lot of artists and being inspired because I had an accident 2 years ago that tore my arm out of its socket and ripped my AC. And it's really hard to get back. So good for him.
Right, that's
very
fantastic.
Good for him.
Hey, and just because I'm in Sacramento tonight, and this is just on my mind, and we'll get into this fantastic interview. But Ezra, who's watching the front of the store right now?
I am. I can see directly into it.
So you can. I know where you are, Ezra.
There's a door right there.
Yeah, if you know the anatomy of Kyber Cave, we call that the little bat cave. That's where we play all the card games and everything. Did you bring our store mascot up with you? I had sent you a message to go grab our friend. Did you see that message?
I did not know.
When I'm doing my interview, at the end of the interview, go grab our you're close to him.
I can grab him right now. Yeah, give me 2 seconds.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, let me get into the interview, and then by the end, you'll hear me talk about him because you'll see, man. I got a vision. I got a plan here, man.
Okay, I'll grab him.
All right. So I want to go ahead and get into this interview. I am very excited. As Phoenix told you, we were kind of framing this whole month and particularly this week as Star Wars week. It was also Audrey Hepburn's birthday on May 4th. But we had Dominic Pace in shop last Friday. That was our 50th episode. That was really nice. It was really cozy to get to ask him questions. It was a really intimate setting, and to be able to hear his incredible responses. This gentleman I actually met a few years ago. He is legendary and famous on our local con tour. He is so gracious and meets everybody and seems to remember everybody as well. I love his story. I hope he gets to tell us his incredible, because most people know him for one thing, but just like I've said, it blows my mind how many people here are known for one thing, but are talented and
in so many other things.
Many other things.
Just talking about fish, so he is a
literally
really cool dude.
Yeah. So
not to give too much away.
Yeah, and,
go check out his YouTube page.
I'm just going to give it up right now, because if I don't say it, then somebody can remind me about it. But this gentleman worked on Nightmare Before Christmas. That's all I need to know. If it was just that alone, it would be enough to get this gentleman on the show.
Absolutely.
I hate to say it, but I think his work has defined my childhood. So cool.
Yeah. Are you saying he's old or something? Or what are you trying? Don't be doing that.
I'm a baby.
So with no further ado, please give it up for Mr. C. Andrew Nelson.
Woo! Greetings from the dark side.
Greetings. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well.
Hey, you just recently...
Audrey Hepburn, huh?
Yeah, you didn't know that? Her birthday's May 4th.
Powerful Jedi is she? Yes.
Her spirit is still around and will be always.
Yes.
So I know you just recently got back from Texas, right?
Yes, I did. I was down doing a signing in Texas at a wonderful store called Order 66 Toys.
Oh, and was that on May 4th itself?
No, it was before that. I had to come back and work. I'm working on a project right now. It's an audio drama called Heroes of Extinction. Okay. People want to find out about it, then go to heroesofextinction.com. But there it is. Cheap plug right away.
Yeah.
But I'm working on this project, and I actually had to come back because I had to record one of the actors for one of the scenes. So I'm directing it. I'm co-producing it along with the creator of the show, Jerry Cornell. And it's a great show. It's all about the superheroes. But okay. So I wasn't there for May the 4th, but I was there in spirit, and I'm everywhere in spirit with May the 4th. But,
that's the power of the Force. See, and this is what we were just talking about. I don't know if you heard our intro, but I was saying it's so fascinating to me when we bring on people and you know them for one thing. That's the thing that everybody sees them, but you find out about all these other talents and other things that they're working on. Have you done a lot of directing? Is this your first big project that you're heading up, or is this old?
No, I've directed before. I've done some directing before. I've done producing. I've done a lot of writing, a lot of editing, and certainly a lot of visual effects and animation for things, and acting. But it's just one of those things where, just at a young age, I was fascinated by all of these things, and I thought, well, why do I have to choose one?
Right.
And fortunately, the nice thing is when it comes down to doing acting and visual effects and animation, which are like the main things that I do, they're at opposite cycles of each other. So there's production and then there's post-production. So I find I'm able to work more often throughout the year if I do both.
Right. So, that's fantastic. So are you constantly working then? I mean, you've got pre-production, post-production.
I try to be, the whole COVID shutdown did a number on the entertainment industry. So and that's kind of how Heroes of Extinction was born, because a lot of us were just sort of stuck at home And we thought, well, we can't, make movies or TV shows while we're stuck at home, but we can do an audio drama. And so our cast is all over the country, and our writers up in Portland, and some of us are up and down California, but we could all get together and through Zoom to do our meetings and rehearsals, and we were able to, record where we were and send it in to all be edited. So
that's fantastic. Where are people who can be? Is this a project that's coming out in the future? Then
it's coming out. It'll be coming out later this year. People can go to heroesofextinction.com to find out more about it. Or I'm going to be putting up stuff on my website, candrewNelson.com, about it. And I think people can actually hear a sample of the first episode. We've got 2 episodes completely edited right now. There'll be 7 episodes in the first season. And it's a show about, when there's no more heroes left in the world, who's going to step up to take their place?
Right.
And somebody is systematically taking out all of the superheroes and the supervillains.
Ooh.
And is it some kind of strange government conspiracy? There's weird mutants popping up here and there.
Ooh.
And the main character, he's just turned 50, and all of a sudden his superpowers aren't working the way they used to.
Oh.
And now the alien collective that has given him his superpowers, they tell him he has to find a replacement for himself. In the middle of him trying to figure out what's going on, and right after his girlfriend has been killed by one of these strange mutants. And was she involved because she was a scientist? So involved in these experiments that may have been linked to all of this.
This sounds like a multi-season thing. This doesn't sound like everything you can cram into one season here.
Well, we do have one complete story arc in the first season of the first 7 episodes, but then it does leave it open for it to go in a lot of different directions. When we have a fantastic writer, Samantha Albin, that's writing it, and Jerry Cornell from Theme Parkology is producing it. We've got a wonderful cast. Peter Alden is one of he's the main character. Isaac Singleton Jr., who was in Galaxy Quest. He was in the Pirates of the Caribbean films. He's actually on The Mandalorian also. In there as a small role in that Mandalorian. He's our sort of anti-hero villain type as well. Mary Gibbs, who was the voice of Boo from Monsters Incorporated.
Wow.
Now all grown up, she's doing a voice. She's one of our main characters in this. So it's a lot of fun. It's a good project.
Did you get to sneak your voice in there?
I am the narrator, actually.
Oh.
So I actually have more lines than anybody else because I have to tell you what's going on. I have to place the audience in the scene.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, see, that is very good use of your quarantine time there.
Yeah, it is. It has been, but it's a lot of fun. And my wife Veronica Loud is also one of the voices in it too. So we've got a really great cast.
That is exciting. I cannot wait to check that out. That'll be later this year. So in all this, you said that you've been lucky to kind of craft a career where you got to do a little bit of everything. It sounds almost like an auto mechanic kind of piecing his career together and making this vehicle.
Well, I'm under the hood here. I might as well. Well, it's kind of like that. Yeah, it's just that I've always had so many different interests in life. Acting, filmmaking, visual effects, animation, puppetry, magic, everything. It's stuff that I've been doing for years and years. And so, unfortunately, I'm able to draw a paycheck from some of it. So I'm very fortunate, very blessed.
Now, for those that don't know I've been lucky enough to talk to you a few times. Like I said, everybody loves you on the con circuits here in Northern California. We're lucky to have you in the area here. But
I love doing it. Yeah.
A lot of people know you as Vader. You have you're credited as having the most time in the Vader suit, I believe, right? As well as
that's what they tell me, and I'm not going to argue with Lucasfilm over that. I played Vader for 12 years for Lucasfilm, for film, television, commercials, print ads, video games, magazine covers, toy packaging, live appearances. I'm even on a postage stamp as Darth Vader.
Wow.
I thought you had to be dead to be on a postage stamp. But then I'm also a visual effects artist and animator. I spent 6 years at LucasArts, the game division of Lucasfilm's empire there. I was a visual effects supervisor and senior artist, working on a lot of Star Wars titles and non-Star Wars titles. And then left there and moved to Industrial Light and Magic, worked on the effects for the Star Wars prequels,
Wow.
And films like Galaxy Quest and Jurassic Park 3 and Perfect Storm and Nightmare Before Christmas, as you mentioned, and some others. So, and then I'm also a voice actor. I do voices for games and animation, and I even supplied Luke Skywalker's voice for several LucasArts games.
Yes, I think, aren't you credited as the only actor to do both Vader and Luke?
Yep, I'm the first actor to officially play both Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. I am my own father or my own son. That's not disturbing at all, is it? So,
I don't know if we're in the right state for that. So but you actually, what did you go to college, I assume, for visual effects, or?
Yeah, my degree's in drama, actually.
Okay.
Because when I was going to school, there was nowhere to learn how to do visual effects and animation and things like that. I mean, you could do traditional animation, but not effects and that sort of thing. Right. I remember when I first saw, before I saw the original Star Wars, I was like just shy of my 15th birthday when the original Star Wars came out, and I wanted to be the next Ray Harryhausen. That was my goal. I was gonna do stop motion animation and do things like Jason and the Argonauts and Seventh Voyage of Sinbad and First Men in the Moon, that kind of thing. Right. Ray was my hero, my idol. And then I saw this little movie called Star Wars. And I remember I've never heard of it before. We were I saw it in San Francisco at the Coronet Theater, which is gone now. Kills me. But I remember the line was just down the street, round the corner, around the block. It was it stood in hours it stood there in line for hours to get. That was just to get a ticket. And then this was like I think this was maybe about 3 weeks after the film had come out. So the buzz had just started on the film. And so I stood in line for hours to get a ticket, then stood in line the opposite direction from the other side of the theater just to get into the theater.
Right.
And I don't know how it happened, divine intervention. I don't know, but I think I got the absolute best seat in the theater. I really do. And that opening scene where the Rebel blockade runner flies right over your head, followed by that massive Star Destroyer. Right. I looked up at the screen and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I want to do that for a living. Well, the problem was there was nowhere to go to learn how to do that for a living, because the guys that were doing that made that up as they went along.
Right.
This was all new territory for guys like Dennis Muren and Richard Edlund and John Dykstra. This was all new. Right. Nobody had ever done anything like this before. So I just kind of had to sort of piece things together. I had a Super 8 film camera. Yes, before video, we shot on film. And I had a little Super 8 film camera, and I was basically like the character in that film Super 8, where the kid's trying to make a movie because he wants to get close to the girl, but he can't really, he's too shy to say anything. So, remove the alien from that whole thing, the alien invasion aspect of it. And that was me when I was in like high school or junior high and high school. And I would just, experiment, trying to do, double exposures and things like that. And just animation, and I made spaceship models and blew them up with bottle rockets that I'd stuffed inside and lit and everything. Everything I could just to try to recreate what I was doing. I took my action figures, my Star Wars action figures, and animated them and things like that. And I learned that way. But there was nowhere to go to school for that. So my degree's in theater, in drama, and acting.
Wow. So how did it evolve to that? I mean, you don't just walk into ILM and say, I saw your movie and I want to do that.
Yes. Where's my desk? No, it's funny because I would tell my students after I left Industrial Light and Magic, I was offered a full-time faculty position at the Academy of Art University in San Francisco. I ran the visual effects department there for about 2.5 years and taught a full slate of classes on different visual effects, disciplines and things. But I would tell my students, I've had a lot of jobs in my life. I only ever got 2 of them because I answered an ad. Everything else was because I knew somebody. I networked. But one of those ads was for LucasArts. Wow. There was this is back when they were still called Lucasfilm Games, and they were looking for a customer support representative. This was in 1993.
Okay.
And it was in January of 1993 that I applied. And so I applied for the job, and I went for the interview. Thought I completely blew the interview, but then the next day I got a call from this was for customer support rep. So basically, if you answered the phone, if I was just answering phones, people bought a game and they couldn't get it to run on their computer, and they were all upset, and they found the 800 number in the back of the manual and they called that number. I was the guy.
You were the guy.
Yeah, me and one other guy. But they hired two of us.
Right.
Just to show you how small the company was at the time. When they hired me and they hired this other guy, they doubled the size of the department.
Wow.
Yeah. It was small. It was a lot of small games, things like Secret of Monkey Island and things like that were the big stuff. They had just released an Indiana Jones game, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. But and then right after I got hired, that was when the first Rebel Assault came out, and then it went boom, and then the company was just huge. People were buying computers that had never bought a computer before just so they could run that game.
Wow.
But I did that for a year, worked in customer support for a year, and then submitted my portfolio to the art director. And I really worked on that portfolio. And she looked at it and she said, "Well, this is basically junior level stuff." And I was like, stick the knife in and twist it. But she was wonderful. Her name was Colette Michaud. But Colette looked at my resume and she saw that previously I had worked at a TV station, and a very small TV station, a local cable access TV station back before we had YouTube and online videos and things like that. Every city by law had to have a place where the public could expound on their views, you might say.
Right.
And so we had a lot of local programming. In fact, Dana Carvey worked at the same local cable station that I worked at. Yeah, so we worked for a short time together there, and I really think that some of those Wayne's World sketches were influenced by him working there, because it was really that kind of low budget, extreme close up kind of thing.
Right.
But she looked at my resume and she saw that I had this background in video, and it turns out that she herself was actually going to be designing a game that was going to be using full motion video in it, and there were only two guys in the whole company who knew anything about video. One of them was on sabbatical, and the other guy, Mike Levine, was tied up on another project. So I got brought into the art department just because of that. At the very bottom of the ladder, there was a position called art technician.
Right.
So I wasn't even creating art at first. I was taking the art that the artist had done, which was in millions of colors, and dropping the palette down to 256 colors for Windows. Actually, less than that, because we couldn't touch the 32 Windows interface colors. Otherwise, everything goes wonky. And I had to make it still look pretty.
Right.
So the first game that I worked on was Mortimer and the Riddles of the Medallion, which you've never heard of.
Yeah, I have not. I won't lie.
You can Google it. Or look it up on YouTube. It was a fun game, but about a flying snail. It was LucasArts' one and only edutainment game.
Okay.
But when I first started working on it, I was art technician. By the time the game actually shipped, I was lead effects animator, and then soon after that was visual effects supervisor and one of the senior artists.
Wow! So the company was growing that fast that they just needed to get.
No, I was just that good. No, I was just very fortunate, and I took the initiative. People ask me all the time, well, how do you get to do this? How do you get to do that? And it's like, because I ask. I take the initiative. Right. Sometimes you get working on projects. Like when I worked on Galaxy Quest at Industrial Light and Magic, I was only supposed to do one shot on it, and just one little thing on one shot. And this is like, I made the joke about the auto mechanic, but it was really like that. It was like, well, while I'm under the hood here, I noticed that, I could do this for you too. And I could do that for you on this shot. And these two shots are the exact same setup, so I could do both shots. And I actually ended up finishing both shots when it would have been assigned to like maybe 5 different artists. Right. And, the visual effects supervisor and the visual effects producer loved me for that. So, because I just saved them a bunch of time and a bunch of money. And so that's how I ended up getting a lot more shots on that film. So,
Right. So, wow. So it's a lot of kind of being in the right place at the right time. And then also.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Or it's actually, because I don't believe in luck. Right. I think luck is an acquired skill. You can learn to be lucky. It's being ready for any place to be the right place at any time. Right. So you have yourself, your stuff together, and you get yourself in gear, and you have a demo reel you can show people, and you have whatever it is that you need. You have your resume and all that stuff ready. So at a moment's notice, you can say, "Hey, I can do that."
I used to have a mentor who said the definition of luck was being prepared when opportunity knocks.
Absolutely, it's absolutely true. It's opportunity meeting preparedness. It really is, and that's how I got into ILM. They had a need, and I had that. They were actually using a particular piece of software. It was called Commotion, which was a compositing software that was also used for rotoscoping and digital paint. Right. Which people don't know what rotoscoping is. It's basically you're tracing the outline of something every single frame so that you can isolate it, so you can manipulate it in a certain way. So let's say you've got a shot where you've got Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan walking along, and you need to stick Jar Jar in between the two of them. Right. And he's got to go in front of Qui-Gon but behind Obi-Wan. Well, in order to do that, you have to trace the outline of Obi-Wan every single frame so that you can put this CG layer in between there, so to preserve that. That's called rotoscoping. And then the rotoscoper also does digital paint, where you're painting things out or you're painting things in that need to be there. And so this software was a pretty new software, and ILM had just bought a bunch of licenses for it, and they needed to, they asked the guy that was selling it to them, who happened to be the guy that I used to work with at LucasArts, Mike Levine. Well, do you know anybody knows this software? And he says, I got the guy for you. And he called me up and said, hey, they need you at ILM. And so I went in and I went for the interview, and I was a compositor or a visual effects supervisor, compositor going in for a job as a rotoscoper. And they said, well, you're overqualified for the job, but we'd love to have you. Wow. Which is always nice to hear.
Wow, that's a good gift.
And so, but I was immediately drafted into matte painting. I'd never done a matte painting in my entire life.
Wow.
But somebody figured, well, he knows digital paint, and he probably can use Photoshop, and we need him in that department. And so by the end of my first week at ILM, I'm standing at Dennis Murin's desk and showing him my very first matte painting I'd ever made.
Wow.
No pressure.
It's like a college crunch time again.
Yeah, Dennis Murin is like, Mr. Visual Effects. He's one of the original guys from the original Star Wars trilogy, and he's also one of the founding members of the Visual Effects Society. My Visual Effects Society number is 1,209. His is 2. So I'm standing there at his desk, and Dennis is looking over my shot on his monitor and my matte painting, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, I used to cut photos of you out of Starlog magazine and hang them on my wall.
Wow.
Because
that would be an incredible feeling.
My nerd. Everybody else, was putting pictures of Bruce Lee and stuff like that on the wall, and I had Dennis Murin and Richard Edlund and John Dykstra and people like that. So so he's looking at my very first matte painting, and he's making some few comments, and then he did something I wasn't expecting. He just turned to me and goes, well, I don't know, what do you think? I didn't know what to say. I mean, I know inside my head, I thought, well, you have more Oscars than anybody alive. Why don't you tell me?
Right.
But Dennis was really cool to work for, and then it just kept building from there. I was very fortunate.
Wow. Now it sounds to me that, when you were talking about, these inventions or, these models that didn't exist, and these, these types of, working on the computer that didn't exist, you came in at a very magical time when all these things were new, and you were working with the people that were creating these brand new technologies and ways to shoot and different effects. Do you still feel like nowadays there's still that room for creating something new, or
there's always room for creating something new. In fact, the software changes even faster now. It's amazing. It used to be that it'd be like every 5 years things would change. Now it's like every year, or half a year. It seems like things are changing constantly. But also, which I think is really cool, is we're going back to some of the old and tried and true methods, very analog methods, but finding a new way to use them. So we're people thought, well, CG is going to be everything, and we're not going to use physical models anymore. Not anymore, and that's not the case. I know a couple of companies that do physical practical effects, and they're busier than ever. But they're combining digital stuff on top of that because it looks more real. I mean, because it is real. That's the thing. I would tell my students when I was teaching, do whatever you can on set in camera, because it's always going to look better than if you have to fudge it in post afterwards.
Right. That's very true. So do you feel like, with all the crazy things that have happened with technology, have you been able to kind of put your stamp anywhere? Like, that's something I started doing, and now everybody does it.
Well, I mean, I created the first digital lightsaber effects.
Oh.
Yeah, I was with myself and Mike Levine when we were working on the Jedi Knight game, the follow-up to Dark Forces at LucasArts. It had a half hour of full motion video in it. It was like doing effects for a feature film. We had 300 effects shots in that half an hour of footage.
Right.
It was just crazy. It was insane. And I know Mike and I just sort of divvied them up as far as, because we were the compositors for it. We were basically taking everything and putting it all together. So we had model builders, we had animators, we had, you know, a lot of different other people that were working on these shots, but we were the final hands on it, putting it all together.
Right.
And we had to come up with, how do you do lightsaber effects, make it look the same as it did in the old films,
right,
but in a digital form. Because originally when they were done, the lightsaber effects were done in a way so that when you have the lightsaber handle, you've got a rod, a plastic rod sticking out of it that's sort of tapered, a white plastic rod, and it's made out of high impact plastic, so it has a little bit of give to it, but it's nice and sturdy, so that you can fight with it. But you know, if it was, because it was really solid, you'd feel that all the way up your arm every time you hit. You guys know that,
right?
But so then what an artist would do is they would take this and they would put it on an animation stand and they would project it onto animation paper. This is back in the day in the 70s. And they would trace the outline every single frame on this animation paper, transfer it over to animation cells, ink it in, film that, and that would be the basis for creating the matte, so that they could add the color and the glow. And we thought we'd try all different things. Well, what if we make the saber, that rod coming out of the saber is like hot pink or something really bold, and we can just like go into the computer and tell it to key that color out, and then that'll create a matte for us. No, right. Those things, you know, you guys swing sabers, it goes at a really fast pace. It's just a blur.
Right.
So we had to go back and we had to do the same method, basically trace it every single frame. We had to rotoscope it. But the nice thing is now we could do it in the computer, and we could do it so that we could set keyframes and let the software interpolate between those two keyframes and do the in-betweens. We'd still have to tweak it and everything. But then we could add the layers of glow and that sort of thing as well.
Right.
Also, we were the first ones to do purple lightsabers and orange lightsabers. And like that, all in the Jedi Knight game. So long before Mace Windu, we had purple lightsabers.
Oh, see, that's a fact that our fans will love.
There's my stamp on there. I'm actually in those games too. Every time, if anybody watches the cutscenes from Jedi Knight, every time you see Kyle Katarn's hands and feet, they're mine. Every time you see the Dark Jedi Jarek's hands and feet, they're mine. So.
Nice. See, you're all over the place.
I am.
Now that begs to ask, with this new project that you're working on, you said you're doing a lot of the directing, but because you have so much experience in all aspects of film, do you find yourself, I'm just going to go help the editor a little bit and, ask them, no, I'm going to go help the camera person with some lighting or you know
me all too well. Yeah. Well, in this case, this thing is just an audio thing, so I can't jump into too much anywhere. But yeah, I mean, I do give some feedback. I am the co-producer, so I get the chance to actually, put a word in once in a while. But yeah, I have to dial it back, because I'm one of those people, and it's not because I'm sort of a overbearing, over controlling kind of person. It's just I get excited, and I want to jump in and do things too. I want to get my hands digitally dirty on things, So, but I have to let the actors. I guide the actors with their delivery, but I let them come up with their characterization.
Right.
And if you cast the right people, and I've been involved in the casting, you're getting the right people. Like in this particular case, I brought in Mary Gibbs to play our female lead in this thing, our female superhero. And I just realized from just talking with her and knowing her for so long, she is that character. She really is. And so I'm just guiding her in this. I know she could bring the character to life. And so you do that sort of thing. And then as far as the editing is concerned, I let the editor, who is also the creator of the show, Jerry Cornell, I let him put it all together, and then he plays it back for me, and I'll give him little, suggestions. Hey, if you tighten this up a little bit, that'll be better, or make this sound a little louder, or make that a little softer. Right. So, but he knows what he's doing. He's a good editor. So,
do you find your life is like Tetris? Like, wait, I'm directing over on this project, but over here I'm doing voice acting today, and then at 9 o'clock,
I'm fortunate, yes. If I'm fortunate, yeah. And so. It's you also have to get those pieces that are falling down, like take the trash out and
right, because I mean, aside quarantine, I know you were very heavy on the circuits, and actually one of the things that I had admired about you, one of the things that you had told me was that because you have you have your normal life and your normal incomes. The money that you were making, selling autographs at the cons were actually going to charities and things that were important to you in your personal life.
Yeah, I've been raising money for the Starlight Children's Foundation since I first started doing conventions, because I'd feel icky if I was pocketing all the money myself. I don't know. It was interesting. I was in New York. This was 2005, because I used to be asked to do conventions, and I would turn it down all the time. It's like, well, who wants to see me at a convention? We've got all these years of stories nobody's heard, and it's like, all right, I'll do it if I can do it for charity. Right. And we were in New York. We were doing the David Letterman show, and it was one of the top 10 list things. So it was top 10 lines you'll never hear in a Star Wars movie. Right. It was for promoting Revenge of the Sith when it came out, and so we had 10 Star Wars characters all come out on stage, each one delivering one of these silly lines. And so I was there as Vader for that. And by the way, I was the number one answer, which was, I once used the Force to open the jar of Vlasic pickles. So very, very Letterman humor there. So we had done a rehearsal at the Ed Sullivan Theater in New York, where they used to do the show. And Matthew Woods and I are walking back to the hotel. He was there with me to voice some of these characters that were out there. And we walk past the theater, and it's like 3 weeks before Revenge of the Sith comes out. And there's already people in line, and they're in costume, and they're just camping out. And we thought, wow, that's really early. And we went up to them. We said, hey, what are you guys doing? We didn't tell them who we were, but we were like, hey, what are you guys doing? And they told us that they were doing like a stand-in-line-a-thon, a pledge for Starlight Children's Foundation. And as they started telling me about the foundation, I thought, there's my charity. Right. They do so much to help families who have kids that are sick or critically injured. And they bring activities to the kids, or they take them out. They do a lot just to support them and to support the rest of the family. Also, especially other siblings that kind of get lost in the shuffle when all the eyes are focused on the sick child there. Right. And I just thought to myself, as a parent myself, I hope I don't ever have to use their services, but I thank God they're there for the people who do. Right. And ever since I started doing conventions, I raised money for Starlight. So.
Amazing.
And you can find out about them at starlight.org.
Always the plug, always a good thing. No, that is absolutely amazing, and I wanted to make sure people heard about that, because I think they see you out at the cons and they think he works for
there he is making a buck again.
Right, but you do absolutely amazing things, and that's why I'm also amazed because of your schedule. I know you're doing the cons, but you're also doing all the work. Do you have any personal time to go fishing?
No, and I don't fish. I actually just keep aquariums.
I actually that was a horrible. I should have thought of who I was talking to.
If I was going to go fishing, it would be to catch them and put them in a tank. But the sad thing is, here in California, all the native fish, they won't fit in my tanks. So they'd outgrow all the fish. We have a lot of big native fish in California. We don't have little tiny ones. All my tanks are small. But no, I do. I mean, I have some free time occasionally, and I spend it with my wife and my kids, and so.
Right.
I say kids. I should just. We call them our offspring, because they're like 24 and 20. So.
But I called mine an unemployed food critic.
Oh, nice.
So
Dad, this doesn't taste good. Why don't we get something better?
Right. Why don't you go buy something and we'll cook it up? So on that note too, I know that you do, or you did do. Are you still doing? And forgive me if I slaughter the name. Aquatasty.
Aquatasy.
I apologize.
Aquatasy. Yes, I am.
All right.
I'm a little behind because I've been busy the last month, but I try to put out at least I'm trying to get a video out a week. It hasn't quite worked that way lately, but it's my YouTube channel. You can go to youtube.com/Aquatasy and find out about it. And it's all about tropical fish, because that's the hobby that keeps me from just losing my mind. It's a crazy industry. At any given moment, it feels like there's a multi-million-dollar production sitting on your shoulders waiting for you to get your part of it done.
Right.
That's how it feels. The reality of it is. There really is a multi-million-dollar production sitting on your shoulders waiting for you to get your part of it done. And that's a lot of pressure. So I chill out by having fish tanks.
Right.
I kind of fell into having a YouTube channel. I didn't actually intend to. I was on an online forum trying to get some information about a fish species, and everybody on the forum was like, hey, let's all post videos of our tanks. So I thought, all right, I'll join in.
Right.
But being me, I can't just like get out the cell phone and shoot something. Oh no, I got to edit it, add titles to it, and music, and I just went completely
call in
overboard.
the director of photography.
Yes.
Get the mic set up for the fish tank.
Yeah. And so then I was looking for somewhere to host the video, and YouTube seemed easy, but you have to create a channel for yourself. So I figured, well, if I'm creating a channel, I better give it a name. Well, if I'm giving it a name, I better get something I can get a URL for just in case. And it just snowballed from there. And so I did the first video, and I put it up there, and then put a link to the forum, and everybody's like, dude, that's great. You should do another one. So I did another one, and now I've got, almost 15,000 subscribers and almost 1.5 million views for a fish tank channel. But it's Darth Vader's fish tank channel. And I take my sensibilities as an artist and I apply them to the hobby. And so, I'll take that. That's my aspect. It's basically, it's a fresh look at the hobby of fish keeping from a humorous and cinematic perspective. So it's teaching videos, but it's also a lot of humorous stuff. I've got sassy back talking fish. Oh, you laugh. They're awful. You don't have to live with them. I do. They interrupt me all the time while I'm making videos. I'm surprised they're not talking right now.
I know,
but they're angry at me.
I just cleaned our fish tank at the shop last night in case our store mascot was going to be on with you. We actually his name is Darth Beta.
Great.
So when Ezra pops on, he's gonna Darth Beta is gonna come on. Oh,
okay, I didn't know it was coming on. Hello.
Oh,
okay.
Is it?
I'm looking over here because my monitor's over here. Look at that.
Oh, can you see him? Oh, he's hiding down there on the bottom.
Yeah.
There he is.
There he is. Oh, that's a nice one.
Darth Vader is our shop mascot.
That's awesome.
Let's see. Can you see that? There you go.
Yes.
So I had to have Ezra bring out Darth Vader and get him on camera. Just
now he's a star.
Yeah,
he's gonna start acting up. He's gonna have his his contract for you and his writer and all that stuff.
Right.
Like that.
He's only gonna want blue pebbles in his tank.
Yeah.
All blue. Just a little
only
bit of
Perrier
black
water in his
Wonderful. So with this year, you've got the new project that you're working on. Yep. Do you have, as things are coming out of quarantine, are things kind of picking back up, or is it just full blast?
It's starting to, It's starting to. You start seeing the casting notices again, and people are working on, So production comes first, and then the post production starts to kick in a little bit. But it's starting to pick up again, thankfully.
Wonderful.
It allows me to do other things too, because I'm writing some books, and I've got other projects as well. So.
Right. And when we close out, I'm going to ask you where people can go to get more information. I specifically, before we go there, though, I remember you telling me a story when you were in our shop. You came for our grand opening almost 2 years ago at the Kyber.
That was so much fun.
Oh, it was so fantastic having you. We had you and Tim Donaldson were there. It was such a fabulous time. But I remember you got up on the mic and you got to talk about some of your experiences as the Dark Lord, and you were telling us about an experience you got caught on fire, I believe.
I almost burst into flames. I was on set for a Kenner toy commercial, and the commercial is this kid is sitting in his bedroom, he's playing with his Star Wars toys, and he hears a noise behind him. He turns around and he looks and he sees his closet door. There's lasers cutting through the closet door. The doors fall to the floor. The room floods with light, and in come 2 stormtroopers and Darth Vader.
Right.
And so we're in the studio and we're shooting this. And this is back before we had all these, now you've got all these LED lights that are nice and cool and everything. These are nice hot Fresnels and things like that. Just, traditional lighting.
Right.
And they wanted to really flood that room with light. And so they had these lights all around us, and they were hot. Even through the back of that helmet, which was really thick fiberglass helmet, I could feel the heat, and I'm thinking, man, that is hot. Right. And then somebody goes, "Hey, do you smell smoke?" And it was the cape. The cape, that big, beautiful wool cape. It was one of the original capes. It was starting to smoke. And they're like, kill the lights. They grabbed the cape off of me real quick. They ran outside. We were shooting in a studio in Connecticut, and it was cold outside. And they ran it out there, and they're waving around in the cold air. And it's like, oh my gosh, it was pretty scary. Just a few more seconds, I probably would have burst into flames.
Wow! And in that Vader,
I was like an ant under a magnifying glass in the sun.
And I know in that costume you don't have a lot of mobility, and you probably are limited, especially in your helmet, to knowing what's
very
going
little
on
mobility. And it's really hot in there anyway, and there's no fans inside there. There's very little ventilation, and visibility is miserable. You can basically see what's directly in front of you through the lenses of the mask, or you can see your feet through the little breast screen there.
Right. Man, see, even the cosplayers have fans in their helmets.
I know. I never got that. I even asked them once, can you just like drill a hole right in the corner of the eye, just to let a little steam out? And they're like, nah, can't do that.
Oh, that's horrible. No love for the actors.
There's been a lot of things like that. I mean, I've almost fallen off of platforms, and when we were shooting the special edition, I almost fell off in a big platform. So that was fun.
Oh man. Well, see, Andrew Nelson, it has been an absolute pleasure talking with you. Time goes so fast in these segments.
Yeah.
We appreciate having you out here. And for those of us that are lucky to live in Northern California or, be out in some of the other places like Texas where you're flying out, we will be seeing you soon out there. Can you let people know where they can, I know you talked about your project coming up, but some of the other places they can find you.
Yeah. Well, if you want to find out where I'm going to be and that sort of thing, you can go to candrwnelson.com. And you can go to the events page on candrwnelson.com, and you can find out everywhere that I'm going to be, wherever I'm going to be doing a signing, or I'm going to be doing conventions or a lecture or anything like that. Right. You can also find me on Facebook. I'm C. Andrew Nelson on Facebook. I think I'm the only C. Andrew Nelson on Facebook. I'm also C. Andrew Nelson on Instagram. And like I said, I'm Aquatasy on YouTube. AQATASY, like Aquatic Fantasy. And go check out heroesofextinction.com, and you can find out more about what I'm working on right now. So
Heroes of Extinction, and then go see those sassy fish.
Yes, please see those. No, don't encourage them. They're such attitude. They do. They interrupt me constantly.
That's what they need is a fan base, right? People that are just calling just for them on your personal.
Oh, geez, no, that's the last thing they need. They already have. They're terrible. So.
Well, thank you so much for being with us this evening. It has been an absolute pleasure.
No, the force is strong with you.
Oh, the force is with you. Thank you, Darth Lord. Red Blade for life. Woohoo! I know. My saber's in the car. I had to rush in. Obviously, I was late, so I had to rush in here. Hello? I can't hear anybody.
I forgot we were
muted us.
Oh,
I forgot we were muted. I'm so sorry.
You're fired.
No.
What'd you guys think?
That was awesome.
He is just a cool dude. In fact, he's right. He is so right. Networking is really everything in film. I have gotten so many jobs from friends that I went to school with. And just been on really cool projects. Not even jobs. Like, we've just been together and been like, I've got a camera.
Right.
I've got a camera, and I've got friends, and hey, let's go make a movie. It is not that hard. It is all about. I'm like messing with the. It is all about connections. It's all about who you know and who friends. Everybody's.
And we live here by the George Lucas quote. He said, "When you own your own cameras, nobody can tell you no." That's why we do stuff like this.
I tell you no.
Yeah, well, within the group, all right. Hey, did you say we had a talk video for tonight?
We have a TikTok tonight. Let's see. We're gonna pull it up.
For those that may or may not know, we've got a special activity after this, so I'm eager to check. Oh, your segment I'm very, very excited about.
Yes, we have a Luke and a Mara Jade coming up. So stay tuned, guys. Right after our TikTok.
What?
The Dark Lord of the Sith. It's been Palpatine all along. Who's the leader of the Separatists? It's been Palpatine all along. gave orders since Eason. He's Darth City Ace. Gives you lightning in your face with power unlimited. It's too late to save Anakin. All the good in him now is gone. Thanks to Palpatine, Darth Palpatine.
It's been Palpatine all along. I am the Senate.
Come to the dark side. We have cookies. Good.
Woo! It's been Palpatine all along. Oh wow, are those dark side cookies?
Yeah, he's got a point.
She joined the dark side.
Yeah, we have turned you.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah. Woohoo! We are gonna go and we will be all set there. I know I don't have any of my stuff, like I just ran in here to get prepared. All my stuff's in the car, but I will be prepared for tonight. All right, let's get this fabulous. You are actually friggin' eating cookies. That is like on air rule number 1. Like
Dark side cookies.
I know. And what about the whole thing? If you don't have enough to share with everyone,
she has a whole plate. She could definitely share with all of us.
Wow. You
better share. Give me some.
You can see how much coal I have on here. I've called her on it, and she's still eating. All right, I am very excited for our very first international cosplay guests.
So our guests coming up, they are actually international. They're from Mexico.
Yes.
Really, I'm excited about this one since they are. If anyone knows about the original canon of Star Wars, back before Disney took over and changed the canon, Luke was married to Mara Jade, and they had kids. So a little bit has changed, and I'll let you guys I'll let them tell you a little bit more. So
and I want to. Oh, sorry. I want to let people know too that if you were interested in them, before when we used to do the show, it just used to be the interview, so we never had a cosplay segment. They're new on that, but they were on episode 6, so they were our main interview on episode 6. If you want to see more about their club and what they do down there in Mexico, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
Please welcome Anna and Alx.
Woo-hoo!
Hey!
Hi!
Welcome to the show.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you. And today wasn't really interesting show with this guest, with Andrew Nelson. Wow. It was amazing, the interview, yeah? Yes. I want to, ¿cómo se dice saludos? He wants that Andrew sends greetings to the academy, to Sables de Luz Academy. She let me know. No. I said, no, stop. It's not the moment, yeah? It's the moment of the interview.
In fact, I absolutely love green blades for life. But right now I'm kind of evil, but you know. So how did you two really meet? How did you get started? Like,
well, we started separately. I started to do cosplay before I meet her, and I started to do the cosplay of Luke Skywalker, Return of the Jedi, and 1 year later, después, un año después, I meet she, and in the beginning we are not couple. ¿Cómo se dice que no nos... Yeah, maybe 3 years ago we met each other thanks to the academy. We practice fencing with lightsabers. So I started in the academy, in his academy, and well, 2 years before so I'm talking, we are in 2021, maybe in 2015 you started with the cosplay? Yes. Yeah, she started with Star Wars cosplay in 2015. I started with
general cosplay. Oh, so many years ago, something like 12 years. Yeah, I started with Raven from Teen Titans, but with Star Wars cosplay, I started when I met him in the academy. And well, yeah, he is the founder of the academy. Yeah, and I'm his Padawan. Yeah, one of the founders. Yeah, it is another instructor.
Oh, that's sweet. So he taught you when you guys first met. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like friends. Yeah, he looks like a good guy.
Oh. And what made you do Luke and Mara Jade? Because not many people know about that character.
No.
In the in the convention, it's really rare or really strange. The people who know Mara Jade always see you her cosplay in this way.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Okay, you look like that, something like a Jedi because you have the hat, like saber, maybe the cape, gloves, but
who you are?
Yeah, we don't know. And normally the people that can identify me is something in the 30s, 40s. Yeah. Only one time was a little kid, in 11 or 12 years old. Yeah, and was like, oh my God, you are so educated. So nice. Yeah, but the story is so it's not so romantic. Yeah, we are couple, but the story of our cosplays is not romantic.
I fight for your love with lightsabers, and then I win your heart. Not so romantic, very, very violent.
Swan. No. Oh, that's terrible. No, she started making Luke before we met. Yeah. And someday in the academy, he invited us, to me and other students and other Padawans, to go to a convention. And you need a cosplay. Well, no, not you need, but say the ideal is that you use a cosplay, a Star Wars cosplay, and me like, okay.
Yes, it's more fun.
Yeah, and my first question was, I need a canon character or can be not canon? No, it's equal. Okay, so come on, let's going to look the woman in Star Wars, and I like so much Mara Jade. I decided to make Mara Jade, and then the next day, okay, I like Mara Jade. What is your cosplay? Who is your cosplay? Luke. And me like, it was like, okay, he's Luke Skywalker. I want to be Mara Jade. No, this is a bad idea. No, it's terrible because Mara and Luke. No, I don't want that. But later, no, I'm committed with Mara Jade. I am going to make Mara Jade. It doesn't matter what. And some months ago, some months later, we are a couple.
So cosplay really did bring you together.
Yes,
I think so.
Was a premonition.
So tell me a little bit about the Academy too. I know you've been on the show before, but I'm a little new to the show. Tell me a little bit about the Academy too, because you said that you said in the past that the Academy makes your cosplay better, and I see you guys are holding blades.
Yes. Well, in the Academy, in the beginning, it's only lightsaber fighting, but we think it was more fun if we want a cosplay, if we have a cosplay. And then we think, maybe when I do a stage combat, it looks like movies. And then, yes, ¿cómo se dice? Y empezamos. En beginning, we start to do stage combat with cosplay. In then, boom, all the people love it. And we, ¿cómo se dice seguir?
And we continue?
We continue again and again to this, hasta que eso creció mucho.
The academy grows up so much, yeah. Today we have online classes, for example.
But someday in Mexico exists a Comic Con, the most big Comic Con, like ¿dónde es en Los Ángeles?
I don't remember.
Like San Diego Comic Con,
Yeah.
but in Mexico is La Mole. And someday ¿cómo se dice? Nos invitaron.
They invite us
to participate in this Comic Con. It was así de, wow, ser invitados. Big guest. Big guest in this Comic Con was extraordinary. And well, the Academy are really, really grow up, but in this time there is no convention like for COVID, and we miss this tipo de cosas,
this type of things, practice this the stage combat. Yeah. So the academy, we can say that the idea started with the episode 7 episode. Yeah.
The Force Awakens.
With the Force Awakens. Yeah. It was the time when he thinks for first time and start this lightsaber academy, because here in our city doesn't exist. Yeah. We are our city is Cordoba, and Cordoba is
a little town, little town.
Yeah, it's 5 hours in bus, far to the capital city, to the Mexico City. So we don't have many things, and well, that was the first idea for the academy. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, the academy starts to grow up with stage combat. Yeah, at the beginning was only fencing, but when the academy started with the stage combat and were the cosplays, yeah, in some moment the academy started to receive many invitations to different conventions in our city and in the new cities, and yeah, especially that convention, that big convention in Mexico, in the country, that is the La Mole. Yeah, was the most special moment talking about the convention and the cosplay. Yeah. And well, we are only part of the academy because the rest of the members do cosplay too. Yeah, we have light side, dark side. We have a dark ray, a light side ray. Yeah, it's interesting.
Let me tell you one more thing. When the stage combat, we can do twin match, like Luke versus Darth Maul, Darth Vader versus Rey, Kylo versus Mara. This is amazing, but some things like that you're doing like it. You use your toys to fight Darth Vader versus Kyle Katarn. Don't match, but with the stage combat you can do it, and it's amazing. Live that fantasy.
Yeah.
And even maybe even have matches that never existed, like say Rey against Darth Vader, see who'd win, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was incredible. Yeah, especially because we have inclusive kids. Yeah, in this moment, the youngest girl in the academy is 10 years, Miranda.
10, 11.
10, 11 years old is the youngest girl in the academy in this moment.
And she's Rey.
She's Rey. So she's how old do you say she is?
10 or 11 years old. I'm not totally sure, but so that's the age.
Start them young. Yes. Couple Padawans, yeah.
Yeah, really youngling.
Little youngling, yeah. And so what? Because a lot of the things we talk about on this show is forms, right? Of saber battles. Do you do any certain forms, or do you just do staged combat?
Yes, we do lightsaber forms to combat, like Shaisho, Makashi, but in the end, you really, ¿cómo se dice? Terminas haciendo?
Practice, yeah.
You really final fighting with Nima, because you use a little for all forms, y por mucho que quieras, for much of you want, use a form.
Yeah, if you want to use only one form and be very curious with that form, in the real life is not possible. Yeah.
No, really no. You terminas haciendo.
Yeah, at the end, you do a big mix, or a big
All the forms.
collage. Yeah, all the
All the
forms.
forms.
Yeah, especially, but the base that we practice is HIMA, the historical European martial arts. Yeah, and that is the base that we practice in the academy. And well, that part, the HIMA part, is put in practice in the fencing lightsaber.
I mean, that's a good combination, right?
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes we practice with the traditional sword, yeah, with the cross, yeah, and inclusive we have lightsabers with cross, yeah. Not only the cross is not only for the dark side, it's not only for Kylo, it's for the light side too.
I love that, a green cross guard.
Yes,
very original.
Yes, my favorite saber.
Well, I mean, I imagine because it protects you a little bit when you're fighting, right?
Yes, yes. The cross guard is really helpful.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm surprised you don't see more of the cross guard. In fact, Ark has one on at the store he's building that is a saber. It's sort of the one, the old fashioned one that wraps around your hand. I'm very excited about that. He showed me. In fact, I think we're supposed to sell that. So yeah, I love seeing lightsabers that are sort of the mix. Philippe says, until you cut your own leg off by accident, which you want to avoid, right?
Yes.
That's happening.
I'm going to post your links if everybody wants to find you, because I think it's very important to. In fact, I don't quite speak enough Spanish to read that, but I don't know if you can.
Oh, okay. If you can change the form or the way that you use your saber, you are going to die. Yeah, it's true.
Yes, really, really true.
Yeah, especially because something that we fight against the idea of that the same positions that you look in the movies are real positions for fight. So, well, if you check our social media, we explain something of this, yeah, with some examples, with some real examples. Yeah, so this is for the movie; it's not for the real life.
Stage fighting versus the actual fighting, which is so complicated but interesting. I don't know if you've ever seen our show apart from Saber Rattle. We do a little bit. In fact, we have some really interesting guys. I hope they're watching tonight. That also have really awesome academies all around. So, which is why I wanted to kind of talk to you about your academy. I absolutely love that the world is changing, or at least I'm being exposed. So
it's okay. It's okay.
So I'll post your. In fact, we will. They're based on Japanese. In fact, Philippe says the best Japanese katanas. I think he's what trying to say. Most of the stuff we see in Star Wars is based on samurai fighting forms. In fact, that's what George Lucas was basing his show, his movie on. Right. I forget the name of the movie now, but it was a 1950s Japanese movie.
Akira Kurosawa.
Yeah.
Shame on me for forgetting the name.
Yeah.
Maybe the Hidden Fortress.
The Hidden Fortress is the principal, and maybe the Seven Samurais or something like that. Yeah, but yeah, we need a lot of time for talk about.
That's another show.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, the idea was cosplay, so we did cosplay. We make cosplay. So
hopefully have you guys on again soon. And I'm going to post your social media, but basically right now below us is your social media. So where do we find you?
In Facebook, you can put Sables de Luz Academia. Sables de Luz is like saber in Spanish. Yeah. In TikTok and Instagram is Sables de Luz Academia at Sables de Luz Academia too. So don't worry if you make us questions in English. Don't worry, we can ask you. Yeah, we are very active, especially now in TikTok. In this moment, so we are transmitting live in our TikTok. We can check us our material. We have fights.
Tutorials.
Yeah, tutorials or cuando practicamos las peleas,
Stage combat.
Stage combat, the cosplay, and some charities that we did.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, the past April 30th, was the Child Day here in Mexico, and we go to a house with homeless children. And well, it was a good experience. Go with the cosplay.
Yes.
Yeah, and the little kids looks at Vader and say, "Oh, he is. I'm not. I'm your father." Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, the kids don't know the names, but just the character.
Yeah,
I mean,
they know the history.
yes, for me, they look it and say, "You are the hungry." ¿Cómo se dice?
Yeah, you're the angry old man
from the movies. Yes.
Yeah, and you be upset with the girl. Yeah, talking about rain.
Yes.
Change your cosplay a little bit and make it white because Luke is now old, right? Well, we are a little bit past time today. But thank you guys so much for being on the show with us, and hopefully have you again on soon. And I can't wait to see what goes on with your academy. Good luck with the academy and getting started back up post-COVID.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we hope that.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you to you. See you. Goodbye. Okay, Saber Rattle.
Bye.
Oh, that's so cute. It's almost sickening. Oh, I was just having a discussion with our tech at Kyber Cave, and we were talking about social dating apps and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, why don't you just do it the old fashioned way? Like find something you're interested in. Like I've met so many couples that have met through cosplay. Like it's just I'm pretty convinced that's not the only way I'm gonna find anybody.
Or theater. Like, I was actually talking backstage earlier about how C. Andrew Nelson was saying he met his wife through acting and through film. I met my husband through doing all sorts of acting and doing improv. In fact, I was teaching an improv class, or I was tutoring improv, and he signed up for my class, and the rest is history.
And he was trying to get a good grade.
Yeah.
I had met an ex of mine through cosplay, so it's better.
Yeah, I'm convinced I'm only going to meet somebody if I'm wearing a mask. All right, guys, let's get this wrapped up. Do we got anything we need to? Oh, we were gonna promote somebody tonight, weren't we talking about? Oh, the Tiki Lounge, right?
Tiki, the Jungle Bird.
The Jungle Bird.
Yeah. They are local to Sacramento, and we will be there tonight.
We will be there in roughly a half an hour to an hour.
Yeah, we're supposed to be there now. So we're late to our own party.
Welcome to Kyber Cave.
Yeah, I know. We will see you guys soon. I've turned evil, so
Yeah. Please come to our last battle tomorrow night at the Kyber Cave, 7 p.m. It will be our last battle there. Hopefully I can get someone to do battles in the park and keep that going. But otherwise, we will see you next week. I want to thank Alan Eason and, of course, James Kaiser, our fantastic flow host. Alan Eason, our flow artist for the day. And then, of course, Alx and Ana from Club Saber Rattle in Mexico. Always fantastic. And, of course, C. Andrew Nelson. We were so lucky to get that embryo. I'm so excited.
He is so very cool. Hopefully see him at Kyber Cave again someday. Come on back.
Woo-hoo.
You're so cool.
And next week, I know our main interview, we have Pilots Bay. We have another husband-wife combo. So I guess love is in the air.
Oh, you don't have your helmet with you.
Well, it's with you. I'll have it next week.
You want me to go grab it?
No, we gotta sign out. Yeah. All right, y'all. Have a beautiful week. We will see you next Friday. Peace.
Bye, guys.
Bye.